everyone that's on the stream tonight, just put a number 1 in the chat box if you can hear my voice clearly. Just let me know if you can hear me. Because we have certainly experienced some technical difficulties over the last few days. So, yeah. So if you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat room. I appreciate it.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Put a 1 in the chat room. If you can hear my voice clearly, put a 1 in the chat room. Appreciate you. Moderator.
Time's been moving slowly, so we already in too deep. Can't get no sleep on each other. Heavy teasing all day and when the sun sets you
a few more minutes. Guys, I appreciate your patience. Give a few more minutes. Just allow some more people to come into the chat room. Again, I appreciate you. Appreciate your patience. I trust that everyone has had, again, a fantastic afternoon, evening. Trust that you had a good weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. You guys had a chance to get out and do some things for the summer. I mean, you only get it once a year, so, you know, a lot of times the day-to-day hustle and bustle gets in the way of you getting an opportunity to do some of the things you want to do. So I hope a lot of you guys have had an opportunity thus far, since the summer started, to get an opportunity to get out and enjoy yourself and do some things that you wanted to do, and with your families and, you know, things like that. I hope that you had an opportunity to do that. I know there's a lot of things I want to do, and I haven't done it yet. So, you know, a lot of things I want to get out and do for the summer, before the summer's over, you know. It's going to be cold in a minute, so not long. I think we got, what 6 to 8 weeks before it actually gets cold outside. So, you want to do something before the summer's over, you know. So, I hope some of you had a better opportunity than I did to get out and do some things, and you know, spend some time with the kids if you have children, grandchildren, you know, and do some things. I don't know how many of you guys watched the VMAs yesterday. I don't normally watch that. I'll be honest with you. I don't watch those kind of programs. I usually don't get into watching the VMAs and the BET Awards and all that kind of stuff. But yesterday, I was inspired to just look at it, only because I saw the lineup. Lizzo was on there, and let me see, Nicki Minaj. There was a lot of people on there yesterday. And Snoop, you know, Eminem. You know, so you know, I had an opportunity to look at that, and I got some comments in regards, but overall, it was a pretty decent show. It goes to show you how I'm getting older for sure. I remember when we used to watch an award show, you kind of knew every artist. It goes to show you when you're getting older, because when you hear this lineup, you're like, okay, I know him, I know her, and then you hear the rest of the lineup, and you're like, okay, who is that? Then you hear the rest, and you're like, okay, who is that? Who is that? And before you finish, you got like 8 people that you've never heard of before. But they're getting awards, so it proves that they're at least well known, irregardless of whether you know them or not. I was finding that pretty funny yesterday when I was watching it. I'm like, who are these people? You know, like, who are these people? Because I knew who I knew, you know, Snoop, Eminem, you know, Nicki Minaj, of course, You're talking about people that go back 10, 15 years in their history, in their career, in terms of at the earliest stage, and even longer than that for some, like Eminem and Snoop. They go back even further than that. So, but it was pretty interesting yesterday to watch the lineup, to say the very least. It was pretty interesting. Everything I watch, I have a motive behind it. I have a motive behind it. I don't just watch it just to be watching it. So, but it was pretty interesting. It was definitely pretty interesting. So we're going to be getting started in just a second, guys. Again, I appreciate your patience. About another 2 minutes, we'll be getting started. Just hang out with me for a minute. We got a good topic tonight. The subject was actually a topic that I had scheduled for Saturday. Before I experienced the technical difficulties with my internet service and my camera. I mean, it seemed like everything went left. When it was time for me, almost like a few hours before I was ready to do the show, it was like everything started going left, and I did my very best to rectify it, but some things are simply beyond your control, and like you've always heard me say, we build it as we fly it. So, we fly it, even though it's not completely built correctly, 100%, you take your ups, your downs, your positive and your negatives, and with that being said, this is what I experienced Saturday, and then I thought maybe I would duplicate the same subject title, the same show, Sunday, only to find out that the technical issues were still in place. So, that didn't help. That didn't help at all. So, I had to forego the show yesterday as well, but I was very determined today to see to it that I got the show off the ground. So I made some moves. I had to get a new router. I had to do a lot of things today to run around to make sure that I could make the show available for you guys tonight. And for those of you that showed up, and that show up faithfully, I appreciate you. I really do. And so we're about to get started, man, and let's go right now. Welcome. Good evening. And as a recap, again, I hope that everybody had a fantastic afternoon and or evening. Shout out to those that are on the line, that are on the stream right now. I can't really see your names for some apparent reason. For those of you that are on the stream right now, let me know that you're there. I mean, put me in the chat box. Put me in the chat box so that I can see that you're there. I don't know why Facebook has this thing where you can't see sometimes who's there. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Oh well. Anyway, guys, you see the topic tonight. You are not competing with the man. Ladies, this is for you. I really want you to hold on. I want you to resist the urge to log off. I want you to kind of go with me tonight. Walk with me tonight. I mean, it's been 3 days since I talked to you guys. So, kind of walk with me tonight, okay? The subject title tonight is, you are not competing with the man. You are competing with other women that want your man. And if you think that you are not in competition, you are sadly mistaken. I'm going to itemize tonight how you're in competition. I'm going to itemize it. I'm going to start off by just simply describing a few things that pertain to competition. Some of you, when you were in high school, you ran track, right? I know I did. I tried to run the sprint, different areas of track. I found out where my strengths were. For me, my strength was not the short run or the sprints or any of that. My strength was in the long run. So what did I end up doing? I ended up doing cross-country track. And I mean, for some of you who are in this general area, you're in the North Plainfield area, there's an area called the Watchung Mountains. We used to literally have to run from Plainfield all the way across 22, right up that hill, and there was like a path that we had to take where we had to run. I mean, it seemed like the more you ran, the more steep the hill became. So it went from here to here to here to almost like you were about to fall backwards, and you had to dig in. You really had to dig in just to complete that run, just to complete the practice. It was very difficult. And I can remember many times during the course of the practice, I wanted to quit so many times. I just simply wanted to quit because the pain that's associated with competing, getting yourself prepared to compete against another school or another team, a track team from another town. Depending on how good the track team was, a lot of times it depended on how hard the practice was. And I know some of you can relate to what I'm talking about, whether it was track or whether it was football, because I played football too, but not in high school, but I played football in Pop Warner. I was one of those guys that you called the midgets. You remember the midgets, those small guys. We thought we were big guys during that time, but I remember during those competitions, during those games, we had to practice so very hard because depending on how well the other team that we were playing against was prepared. And in black communities, a lot of times we didn't have these football camps and all these kind of things that these other upper class neighborhoods had. So their students were very prepared. I mean, they were very, very prepared for a football game. And then we got to the football field, and these guys looked like grown men. I mean, they looked like adults. We thought we were being cheated. And we were saying to ourselves sometimes before we went out onto the field, we were like, they must be lying. They must be trying to scam us because those guys are way too big. There's no way that those guys are in elementary school, or there's no way that those guys are in high school. Come to find out, these were just big guys. These are just really above average big guys. And then it occurred to us at that point why our practice was so very difficult. Because see, the coach who knows the competition that you're up against, his job is to prepare you in such a way to be able to at least match the level of competency that the competition has. How hard is the competition will determine how hard you have to train. It'll also determine how much and how well you need to be prepared for that game to ensure whether you succeed or whether you fail. So this is what I understood after a while of playing against some of these really competitive teams that were determined to win against us and defeat us ultimately and take home the trophy. So I understood that. The thing I found out, ladies, is that being competitive is a lifetime sport. It's not a sport that you can just forego at a certain point thinking that you've won, because most teams that do that, they tend to, I should say, underestimate. They tend to underestimate the competition to such an extent, to such a degree, that they fail to prepare, they fail to practice against the competition that they underestimated. Why is this important? Because tonight's topic is you are not competing against the men that you're, against your man. You're not competing against your man. You, in fact, for those of you that have a man, and for those of you that desire one, if you're in fact single, you are not just competing against your man, but you In fact, in truth, you're competing against the women who want your man. I know some of you may say, I don't care to compete. If I have to compete against him, then he's not worth it. I should just let him go. Well, that's your choice. Again, as you've heard me say in so many streams, I support your choice. And there is no man that's going to fight you against your choice. But for those of you that see that you competing to keep your man against what's available in the world who are desirous of your man, it's worth the fight. It's worth the practice. It's worth you training yourself, getting yourself prepared in such a way that you remain competitive against any other competitor who wishes to take your man from you. Again, you're not competing against your man. You're competing against those who wish to take your man. Now, if those of you who don't think that's important, let me explain something to you. Those of you that are watching right now, if you have a man, do you think he's attractive? Do you find him attractive? Are you still turned on by him? Do you still find him handsome? Do you find him still, upon watching him and looking at him, that perhaps someone else may still see what you see, that he's attractive? Do you still see that? If you do, you should know very well that you have to do what is necessary to remain competitive for him. Now let me explain some things to you that will, in most cases, in a lot of ways, disqualify you for being competitive. What disqualifies an athlete? Listen to me. What disqualifies an athlete, for those of you that have played sports in your life? The only thing that really truly disqualifies an athlete is the athlete not taking the competitor serious enough. That's what causes a boxer to lose his boxing match. That's what causes a track runner to fail in his track meet. That's what causes a gymnast to fail in his maneuvers or her maneuvers. That's what causes a football player to fumble. Not enough practice. That's what causes a quarterback to fail in throwing the ball with accuracy. Lack of practice. That's what causes the team in and of itself to fail in meeting the requirements against the competitor that they were playing against. Because why? What did they do? They underestimated the competitor to such a degree they felt they didn't need to practice. They didn't need to be competitive. So once the competitive spirit is lost, what do you have left? All you have then is hope. And the funny thing about hope is it doesn't last long. Hope doesn't last very long because it's like talent. Talent versus work ethic. Work ethic will always outdo talent. I don't care how talented you are. Work ethic will always outdo talent, in spite of the talent itself. So, that's what's called being competitive. That's what's called being competitive. How do you disqualify yourselves, ladies? Now, I want you to walk with me. I want you to listen to me and not force yourself not to become triggered. Here are some of the things that disqualify you. And then I'm going to go further and itemize the things that would qualify you in terms of you being competitive with the men that you say you want and the men that you currently have, or the man you currently have. Here's one thing that disqualifies you right off the bat. You've heard me mention in several streams. Here's what a man wants. Why do I say it first going forward? Is because men are visual. What is it that we want? We want you to be fit. We want you to be friendly. We want you to be non-argumentative. We want you to be non-combative. We want you to be easy to get along with. We want you simply to be cooperative. That's what a man wants. This is something that you don't have to pay for. Most of what a man has to pay for to make you happy is usually financial. In most cases, especially today with the modern woman. But I want to say to you this, for those of you that don't subscribe from a monetary standpoint and you simply want to know what tools that you need in terms of what a man wants, and this is for those of you more specifically that actually care what a man wants, it's itemized by what I just said. Fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, easy to get along with, a great experience for a man. Now, how do you disqualify? 80% of our women in this country are overweight. Listen to me, ladies. Don't get triggered. Don't sign off. Just roll me for a minute. 80%. These are the stats. This is the data. And this is the statistics. Quantifiable, verifiable information that you can find yourself. It's not my opinion. 80% of most of black women in this country are overweight. Of that same 80%, they're considered or diagnosed as morbidly obese. Now, what is morbidly obese? Well, we know what morbid means. Morbid is synonymous to health conditions or even in some cases, worst case scenario, death. When someone says morbidly obese, they're talking about something that could really do some physical harm to you in terms of your health. So 80% is morbidly obese. BMI is described as body mass index. You're talking about height to ratio, what your healthy weight should be according to your height. This is all it talks about. That's all it is. It's not body shaming, so stop listening to the media. It's not body shaming, so stop listening to the news. Stop listening to all this stuff on television. It has nothing to do with body shaming. It has everything to do with telling you what you need to hear as it relates to your physical health. First and foremost. But for those of you that are in a relationship and you've lost concern as to whether you gain weight or not, and you've bought into the idea that to gain weight means you're voluptuous, I'm just going to itemize it. Stay with me, ladies. This is not to make you feel any kind of way except health conscious. Let's keep going. To tell you you're voluptuous, or to tell you that you're curvaceous, or to tell you that you're pleasingly plump, or to tell you that you're thick. And some of you have heard me itemize these points in other strains, but this is really synonymous to the subject title tonight. That you're not in competition with your man, you're in competition with the men who want your man. What's important? It's important is that if you care about the relationship you're currently in, or the relationship that you seek to be in, that you do what's necessary to keep the relationship that you currently have, or that you put yourself in preparation for the men you say you want. Like a team would prepare themselves before going against an opposing team who wants to win. They want the same trophy that you want to get. That's what they want. And they're going to prepare based on how eager or how determined or how serious they are about getting that same trophy. How eager, how determined are you about keeping the man you say you want, getting the man you say you want, or keeping the man you currently already have? That's one thing that disqualifies you, ladies, and that's your weight. That falls under the description of fit. Feminine. Let's go with feminine now. Feminine is usually taking a back burner to bad behavior. What do I mean by bad behavior? Bad behavior means you're masculine. You're living in your masculine. In fact, most modern women today have become comfortable and they rest easy in their masculinity, in that they talk over the men that they are with. They talk over the men they're with. They'll literally jump in a man's face in public, be it their own man or some man in random. They'll jump in their face. Why do you ladies do that? And I'm glad you asked, because I'm eager to tell you why you do it. You do it because you know subconsciously that the system is on your side. But I'm going to tell you something. Between two men, here's what we know inherently by nature. We know that when we come in face to face with one another, there's a level of respect that we must maintain in all conversations that we have with one another. So what do to maintain that level of respect? We moderate our tones, meaning we talk to one another in such a way because we know that there's a low level of threat, of violence between us because we're both men. So what do men do? We know exactly how far to go with one another. Even in laughable conversations, we know when to stop. We know when to fall back. We know when to stop talking altogether, because we know that if we go too far, it's going to turn into fisticuffs. This is what men know by nature when we deal with one another. But ladies, in most cases, a lot of cases, especially today, in this modern time with this modern day woman, she will jump in a man's face just like that and begin to throw out all kinds of insults, shame, guilt, need to be right, pejorative, call him all kinds of names, threaten his sexuality in her insults, all kinds of things. He must be gay, say that he has a small D complex, all kinds of things are said. Oh my, I've heard everything. And some of you, I'm sure you've probably said everything. But these are the disqualifying factors that will actually in every way cause you to be non-competitive. Absolutely. Let's go on. You have insult. Insults fall into what I just said. Then you have what's called the guilting practice. Guilt practice. Guilt practice is simply trying to make the man feel guilty. It could be something as simple as him saying to you, baby, I want to go out with the guys tonight. And we're just going out to have a couple drinks maybe. Or we're just going out to, sit down and relax and have some powwow boy talk, Mind you, I will say this as a disclaimer. And this is for the guys that get on the stream. If you're going out with guys and you're in a committed relationship and or marriage, you shouldn't be going out with guys that are not in committed and or marriages. I'm going to say that to you. That's where you're not justified. Married men should not be hanging with unmarried men. So, say what you will. It's a recipe for disaster. And likewise, the same rule applies for you ladies. If you got single women as your friends, you're already blowing it. You're disqualifying yourself. You're putting yourself in a bad position. You're opening up doors that you really don't want to open. I promise you that. Because single women keep single women single. And single women make married women end up single. And likewise for you, brothers. Single men make married men, end up single. So the rule applies on both sides. Again, I will repeat. Married men or men that are in long-term committed relationships do not hang with men who are in non-committed and non-marital relationships. It's a recipe for disaster, and it goes on both sides, men and women. So let's continue. What else, ladies, does it disqualify you? I just had to put that out there. What else disqualifies you? Okay. The need to be right. Hence the word sign. S-I-G-N. Sign language. N, the last word, meaning the need to be right. Ladies, you have to get beyond yourself and this insatiable, thirsty need to be right, irregardless of points made, irregardless of things shown to you that proves that perhaps you may have been incorrect or wrong, still trying to find a way to win the argument. Okay, now you may win the argument. You may win. You may win the battle, but you will lose the war. What is the war? The war is between you and other women who want your man. And some of you ladies have been in toxic relationships so long, you could care less if somebody take your man. I get it. I get it. You know? And some of you guys are so toxic that you probably should be by yourself anyway. So we're going to touch on both sides of that thing that disqualifies you. Now let's talk about what does qualify. What does qualify? If you, ladies, are not committed, starting off with what we started off first, committed. I mean committed. Not just that it's a good idea, but committed. Committed to focusing on your health in terms of your weight, what you eat, everything. What you even watch has to be looked at more seriously. Because what you watch forms your thought process. Your thought process is all out of whack. Many of you are watching way too many things on television that don't form a positive thought process, including what you watch on social media, including what you do on social media. Many of you are so addicted to social media, you may as well just seem to be a drug addict because you can't leave social media alone. You won't get off your phone. Your phone is almost attached to your hip, and you have a man. So let's start right there. You have to start paying attention not just what you eat, but what you put in your head. Let's go from there. Now let's start talking about attitude. You have to find a way to get rid of the old programming. The old programming that told you, and I'm talking about coming all the way from Big Mama. Big Mama told you you didn't need a man. Your mother probably told you didn't need one either. Chances are neither one of them had one. Not one that was successful. So naturally, they're going to teach you something based on their own personal past experience. They don't mean any harm. They think that they're protecting you. They really do. They think that they're protecting you. Hold on one second, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me 1 second. All right. Thank you so much again for your patience. Now let's go. What was I saying last? Many of them, folks, many of your aunties, just understand this. Many of your aunties, many of your aunts, whatever they told you coming up, they were not telling you something with malice to hurt you. They were telling you these things to protect you. They were trying to protect you. They didn't understand that what they were saying to you was going to have long-term effects. Long-term effects. Which would cause you to be insufficiently trained in the competitive market of keeping the men that you had, not much less having you trained effectively in a way that you would qualify for the men that you say that you want. Now, you may not know how to verbally describe the men that you want, but in your mind, most ladies have fantasized about the kind of men that they actually did want. They fantasized about it. The same way men fantasize about having a built body in the gym. whether they ever get one or not. The same way men fantasize about the nice car that they want to drive, whether they ever get to drive it or not. The same way, men have their own fantasies, but ladies, you have yours too. And as a young lady, most of you have had fantasies of this ideal, perfect relationship where almost like the knight in shining armor. That's why Valentine's Day is so special to you ladies. That whole concept and idea of love and romance, it does something for you. Even if you've never seen it before or experienced it, it does something for you. You like the whole idea of the Christmas holidays, where you're all sitting there around the tree in your onesie pajamas or your two-piece pajama sets early in the morning at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and you're all sitting there, husband and wife and the kids together, you know, with the eggnog, and you're all breaking open the presents underneath the tree and looking into each other's eyes. Everybody's smiling, trying to figure out which gift belongs to them, what name tag is on each gift. Early in the morning, the sun hasn't even barely come up. But these are the things you fantasize about. Only to find yourselves, in most cases, in a lot of cases, sadly, with our women in this modern society, with the way the mind of the black woman has been programmed to be independent. I am woman, watch me roar, I don't need a man. This whole mentality has deprived you ladies of the very fantasy that you used to have when you were younger. But listening to Big Mama, listening to your single mama, listening to your single grandmother, your aunties, or your single friends has deprived you, so that now every year when Valentine's comes by, you find yourself here once again disqualified to get the men that you say you want. You are in fact in competition not with the men you say you want, nor the man you currently have. You are in competition with the men that want the men that you say you want, and ladies, the men that you currently have. Oh yeah, because if you're attracted again to him, so is someone else. How fit are you? How qualified are you against the opposing opposition where you're concerned to keep your relationship? Are you too masculine? Are you too mean? Ladies, are you too mean? You know, do you take everything so serious that there's no room for compromise? Is that what you do? Do you overtalk your man if you're talking to him and he's talking to you and you're having conversation? Do you find yourself deficient in even being able to have a normal, adult, civilized conversation without it turning into something else bigger than what the conversation started as? Is that where you find yourself? Does everything have to be a problem? If that's what you are having issues with, all right? If that's what you're having issues with, it stands true. This is probably why you've had the outcomes that you've had in previous relationships and the current situation that you're suffering with in your current relationship. It comes from something. You stopped being competitive. You stopped thinking it was important to be competitive. And outside of being competitive, and I will say this, to be competitive, you have to be taught to do these things. This is something that has to be taught. You know, the women, the older generation are responsible for teaching the younger generation what to do, how to be ladies, how to be women, how to take care of their husband, how to take care of their men. Why? Why is that important? See, today's society tells you that to even be taught that is weak. Well, we see why the communities that we live in are equally as weak. Because when you remove the whole concept of family and relationships, the community can do nothing more except go down. It can't go up. It's only going to go down. It can't go up. You can't sustain a community without relationships. It's impossible. You can't sustain it here in the United States amongst any ethnic group. And you can't sustain it anywhere in the world, regardless of their ethnicity. You can't sustain it. Countries are maintained. because of their ability to maintain relationships. Societies are maintained. Governments are maintained because of their ability to maintain relationships. So that's how important it is. It really is. It's the fundamental foundation of every community. This is why you continue hearing me talk about it. But what's so sad is that in our communities, women in general, black women in particular, we have removed the importance of family, and as a result, removed the whole idea of remaining competitive. Everywhere you go right now, what do you see, ladies? You see a lot of interracial relationships, correct? You see these interracial relationships as it relates to black men in particular. I mentioned to you, ladies, a few streams back that the passport, the influx of passports being acquired among black men in this country has went through the roof in unprecedented numbers. I'm talking in numbers that have not been seen almost ever. The numbers are so high, in unprecedented numbers. Black men all over the country are obtaining their passports to do what? To find relationships. That's what they're doing. Because here, unfortunately, black men in particular, men in general, women in general, but black women in particular, have begun to see their men as a utility, as a come up, as a means of resource. Now, let me say this. There's nothing wrong with you seeing a man as a means of resource, because in truth, that's what it should be. Because that's what our job is in the earth, is to take care of you. That's what our job is to do, to take care of you. And there's not a man alive who feels completely like a man if he can't take care of you. But the next question is, who? What is he taking care of? Is he seen as important as the trophy that the athlete seeks after in a competitive sport? Does he desire to not just get the trophy, which would be described as the men you say you want, but is she desirous of keeping the trophy? Year after year, keeping that trophy for the men she currently has. This is where the problem lies. See, today, the runner doesn't stretch anymore. Today, the athlete doesn't train anymore as it relates to relationships. Ladies, you've stopped competing. You've decided that competing is not worth your time. And then you've been made to believe that bad behavior is acceptable behavior. You've made to believe that being overweight and not taking care of your physical appearance as it relates to the men you say you want, who are visual, and the man you currently have, who still is visual, you've been made to believe it's not important. And I understand. You know, one thing I found out last night when I was watching the MTV Awards, I watched Lizzo. She's very talented, very successful, and I will say this, she's very beautiful. She's not an unattractive young lady when you look in her face. But just imagine, if society has not told her that it's okay for her to be morbidly obese. Now they may cancel, they may flag me just from saying that, but I don't care, because ladies need to be told the truth. You ladies need to stop respecting people that lie to you. Stop respecting a lie and then tell your man, no matter what he does, just don't lie to me. Well, you know, I'm coming to find out that some of you ladies would rather hear a lie than to hear the truth. If you are being told that you don't have to concern yourself with your health, and that is sexy, well, somebody just lied to you. So the conclusion comes down to, maybe you don't want to be lied to as long as the lie doesn't go against what you want to hear. But if the lie goes in accordance to what you want to hear, then by all means, lie to me and lie to me some more. Is that the narrative that you want to follow? Is that the narrative? Because if it is, it explains the problem. Because if you watch every celebrity, and you've heard me say this also, every celebrity, no matter how much money they have, and no matter how successful they are, you find so many of them single as French toast. They're single. They have nobody's checking for them. Oh, they got money. Oh yeah. They're successful. Oh yeah, they got money. They're well known. But when it comes to real meaningful relationships, committed relationships, very few will you find that are living that life. No, they're not living that life. You can count them on two hands, and there's way more celebrities, female celebrities, than that. They're not successful in that arena. But they're telling the same lie. Why? Because it sells clothes. It sells perfume. It sells hair care products. It sells nails. It sells weaves. It sells shoes. It sells movies. It sells series. It sells shows. It sells. What sells? Lying to you, so that you remain uncompetitive for the men you say you want, and so uncompetitive in keeping the men that you currently have. Oh yeah, so uncompetitive. Do you want to win, or do you want to lose, or continue losing? Is that what you want? We are better, and I keep stressing it, better together than we are apart. And you know I'm right, because we're a mess when we're not together. You know we're a mess when we're not together. We're a mess, absolute mess when we're not together. But together, if we can tend to work out the things that we need to work out, to make ourselves and keep ourselves the best versions of ourselves, which is what this whole year is about. You and me, men and ladies, women in general, black women in particular, men in general, black men in particular, striving to make ourselves the best versions of ourselves and stop bumping our gums about being the best version when you know you're not. When you know you're not. We got work to do to make ourselves the best versions so that we can present before each other the best sides of ourselves and then become competitive so that we can get the outcomes that we say we want. That's if you want them. That's if you want them. I mean, for those of you that are sick of hearing these talking points, then more than likely, you're never going to get the outcomes you said you want. But you won't be able to say you weren't told. You won't be able to say you didn't hear it. Whether you heard it from me or whether you heard it from somebody else. You know, and I know, that everything I mentioned thus far, in terms of weight, fit, feminine, friendly, easy to get along with, non-combative, non-confrontational, a good experience for a man, your health being a concern in terms of you being competitive to not just keep the man you want, but get the man you already currently have. and that you ladies are not in competition with the men or a man. You're in competition with the ladies or the women who want your man. That's a fact. And you will be in that same fight, and you will be in that competition for as long as you are in relationships. Don't think it ever goes away. Even if you get up into old age, there's another old woman who still wants your old man. I hope you didn't think it stopped. I've been at senior citizen buildings, and I've watched my father, who's in a senior citizen building. I've watched old senior citizen women trying to shoot their shot for my father. And he's up in age. He's up in age, and he's not that well. But I've seen some unwell ladies in the senior citizen building trying to shoot their shot. Oh man, you can't make it up. You can't make it up. You will have to remain competitive for as long as you're in a relationship. And that's good. That's good. Because guess what, guys? For you that end up watching this stream, you got to remain competitive too. Oh yes, you got to remain competitive. We both have to remain competitive for one another. It's not a one-sided track. We both have to remain competitive for one another. Because there's somebody that wants your wife too. They want your lady. Don't think they don't. They do. But it's more important, ladies, that you remain competitive to keep your man. Because as you've heard me mention in every stream, men determine relationships. You determine access to your body and sex. Men determine relationships. And men determine whether you ever in a lifetime get married. You've heard me say 1 in 4 will marry in a lifetime, which means 3 of you will die alone. And that's important to keep reminding you, because so you don't get diluted by what the media and television is already currently telling you. That's why I keep repeating. Something needs to debunk the lies. Something needs to debunk the stories that keep black women in general diluted to what they personally need to do to make themselves not just competitive, but make themselves in a way that they can keep the men that they currently have. Now, you know, a lot of women think that if they can attract a man physically to them, that means they can get a man. No, any woman on the planet can get a man to be physically attracted to her. I don't care how you look. There's some man somewhere that will be physically attracted to you. But I know many of you ladies don't want just simply a physical attraction. I know you don't. Some of you want more than just someone to be physically attracted, because all relationships start physically, right? Some of you have had so many relationships that started physically and it ended right there. It ended at the physical attraction. And then the end result was a child was born. Now you're even more frustrated. And you continue getting physical attractions. But nothing moved beyond the physical attraction to give you the results or the outcomes that you know you wanted as a woman. You know you wanted it, and you didn't get it. That's where you have to start coming face to face and being I should say, truthful with yourself, and turn off the noise in your ears of those that think they're winning. Turn off that noise. Turn it off. If you can mute the noise of those that continue drumming messages into your ear to make you think that you all that, if you're not healthy or at a healthy weight. If you can't turn that noise off, if you keep listening to those that tell you because of your zodiac sign That's why you act the way you act. You're going to keep losing. If you can't turn off the noise of those that keep reinforcing or validating in you that you've always been this way, you've always told people a thing or two, you've always been known to speak your mind and not take no wooden nickels, and you've always been told, everybody knows you to give somebody a piece of your mind and lay them out, curse them up and down from top head to toe and back and forth. If this is the reputation that you've had for years, and I know so many ladies that I've talked to, they glorify having this kind of reputation. What a fool. What a fool. Because you only feel good to yourself with that. You disqualify yourself from being competitive. No man worth his own salt wants a woman that's like that, except for half an hour, maybe 45 minutes on a good day. And you know exactly what I'm saying. Outside of that, he gone. You don't want no part of that. Ladies, you're not in competition with men. You can stop fighting us. You know why? Because I can tell you this, black woman in particular, we are not your enemy. No, you're not your enemy at all. You are your own enemy. Your worst friend is who you look at in the mirror every single day that keeps telling you that how you move in the earth, which makes you uncompetitive, which makes you not simply uncompetitive, but undesirable for the long term, only for the short term. You are your worst enemy because that's who you're listening to. You're listening to yourself. You're listening to that embedded program in the back of your head that keeps telling you that what you say and how you act and how you carry yourself and how you dress and how you move from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, you're listening to that voice that keeps validating for you toxic, bad behavior, which makes you uncompetitive in the sexual marketplace as it relates to the men you say you want, and more importantly, with the men that you already currently have. Ladies, don't you want to be competitive? Don't you want to win? Men that share your reflection are not your enemy. They're not your enemy. We, black men, are not your enemy. And I'm talking to black women in particular. But men in general, for ladies in general, men are not your enemy. You, under this modern woman mentality, have become your own worst enemy, and as a result, your outcomes reflect. There is no man that could say anything about it that will disprove the outcomes that you are currently experiencing right now, or the outcomes that you will experience going forward if, in fact, you don't change. You're losing your men. You're losing your men. Because you think you're in competition with the very men, when in fact you're in competition with all the women that want the men that you say you want, or the men that you currently have. This is our message tonight. I hope it helps someone to take some introspect. If in fact any of the characteristics or behaviors you possess personally, if it is, ladies, just come face to face with it, and then you can get some different outcomes. You know. And I also want to say this for the guys, for the men, for the soldiers. This week represents Men's Week. The only reason I did a stream tonight for the ladies is because we suffered technical difficulties. Outside of that, tonight would have been the first stream for the Men's Week. So I'm going to add an additional day this week, so as to not cheat the men of the talking points that I intend to have this week, where I talk to you. where I talk to you, the men in general, black women, black men in particular. I want to talk to you this week. I will do this once a month, like I did last month, and I'm going to do it again this month, and I'm going to continue doing it until you bring yourself on the stream to actually listen. Because some of y'all want some better outcomes too and can't get it. We can't talk about what we want the women to do. You know what? Let me just say that. We can't talk. We can't keep always talking. That's why I have a men's week every month. Because, I mean, some of y'all, even some of you ladies got me twisted. You think that me talking to ladies, because this is a men's channel, just so you understand that. But when I talk to you, you think me talking to you means that I'm going to not talk to the men to hold us accountable for the things we need to be held accountable for. Wrong. No, I said we are better together than we are apart. We, that means both of us. It's not you are better with us. It's we are better together than we are apart. So there's things that the men have to be addressed on, that men have to be brought to the table on, about our behavior, our accountability issues, and everything else that goes right along with it, our miseducation about what it is to be a man and things of that nature. So I'm equal-sided because, like I said in every stream, I want to see the outcomes on the outside. That's what I want to see. And to see the outcomes on the outside is going to require both of us. So how can I possibly talk to you and you alone if in fact it requires both of us? So you ladies, you keep supporting the streams where I'm talking to you, and don't be a hypocrite when I'm talking to the men. I want to make that clear. Some of you ladies don't have no smoke when I'm talking to men, or if any content creator like me is talking to men, but you don't have a problem with that. But you have all the problem in hell when somebody's talking to you. So if you want to see the better outcomes for yourself, understand those better outcomes as it relates to relationship is going to require both of us, which means we both have to be addressed. So be okay with hearing talking points that address you and take accountability, which is like acid reflux and kryptonite for you ladies, while I talk to the men about accountability as it relates to us and what we need to do to get ourselves in shape, to get our stuff together. All right? Now, these are going to be the ground rules again for the men's week. No ladies can make any comments, because all I want to hear from is the men. But you are permitted on the stream. You are permitted on the stream. You are permitted on the stream. Because I want you to get an opportunity for the men who choose to participate. And guys, don't be like this guy right here. This guy. Don't be like him. Get on the damn stream. Get on the damn stream. I'm talking to you. This is a man's channel. Don't be a panda bear and remove and avoid the stream. This week is for you. This week. I'm going to make the stream if none of you get on the stream. Watch it on the replay. Watch it on the replay. Okay? So, I'm excited about it. And I'm ready to talk to my soldiers. I'm ready to talk to the men that actually want to get things done. I'm actually ready and excited to talk to the men that want to become a better version of themselves. Like I talk to the ladies who want to be better versions of themselves. Everybody that jumps on these streams don't want to be better versions of themselves. I'm not so silly to not know that. Some of you get on the stream simply to just be nosy. You really don't want anything different. You don't want anything different. Some of you, not all of you, but some of you really don't want anything different. You just want to jump on the stream to hear what this dude got to say tonight. What are you going to say tonight? But you don't really take passionately the whole idea or concept of wanting something truly different. And again, I'm not talking about all of you ladies, but for the ones that are like that, you will remain getting the same outcomes that you've always gotten if there are outcomes that are unfavorable. I'm gonna promise you that. And likewise with the men, when I talk to you, if you avoid the stream, but you don't avoid stupidity, if you avoid a positive stream, but that's dealing with issues that affect us, but you won't avoid the buffoonery, the effery, if you don't avoid those things, but you'll avoid a subject and talking points that are with content creators like myself or others, then you really are just as stuck and stupid as the sisters that I talk to that do the same thing. You're not going to get the outcomes that you say you want either. I told you can't wash your left hand without your right hand. This is the woman, this is the man. Try washing your hands without bringing both of them together. Some of y'all are so silly. Anyway, I am so excited about this group, and I'm so excited about these streams. I will tell you this, for those of you that are members of Let's Talk About It, I myself, I am going nowhere. This is not going to decrease. This is going to increase 100%. It's going to increase. It's going to increase. I hope that I can bring a lot of you along with me that want to see the outcomes change. Or you'll be left back in the outcomes that you're already receiving right now, that to you are not so favorable and not so good. That being said, thank you guys, ladies, gentlemen, thank you for getting on the stream tonight. I am your host. I am Charles Chambliss of another show of Let's Talk About It. Again, shout out to everyone that got on the stream tonight. I can't see all of your names that got on. Thank you for your participation, any comments that you left, and for just simply getting on the stream. Understand this, I'm going to be here if no one gets on the stream, so you're absolutely never doing me a favor by getting on, but I do have to thank you for the thing that you can't get back in your lifetime, and that's your time. That's what I'm thanking you for. Have a great night, ladies and gentlemen. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Ladies, I'm looking forward to talking to you again next Monday. The rest of this week, I will be talking to the men. Again, you are all welcome to come onto the stream. You are not permitted to comment, but you are welcome to come onto the stream so that you can hear what the men are saying, because I want to engage the men. What I want to do right now, though, real quick, maybe for like 5-10 minutes. Anybody who has any questions, put that in the chat box. Any questions that you have for me? Where did I get it wrong? If you think I got it wrong, tell me what I said that you think I got wrong. Let me hear it. Put it in the stream. Put it in the chat box. Okay. Shout out to Lisa Baker. Appreciate you for your time and coming onto the stream tonight, Lisa. Hey, Lisa, keep coming. I don't recall seeing your name a few times, but I do thank you for coming on tonight. All I want to say to you is, before prejudging it, keep coming. Shout out to Dwayne Bowen family. Thank you for getting on the stream tonight. I appreciate you, man. Keep coming back. I thank you for your support. John Johnson, shout out to you, man. Thank you for coming on the stream tonight. I appreciate you. Keep coming out, man. Keep coming out. Daphne Simmons, I appreciate you for jumping on the stream. I saw you earlier saying that you would be here. I appreciate you for keeping your word. Keep coming out, sis. Keep coming out. We're going to continue. We're not going to slow down. We're going to speed up, in fact. We're going to speed up. This is important. Shout out to Abdul. Shout out to Gail. And shout out again to all of you that jumped onto the stream. I truly appreciate you. Again, with that being said, I am your host. Charles Chandler, another episode of Let's Talk About It. And with that being said, we are gone. Good night, folks. Ladies, I look forward to talking to you next Monday. Guys, men, tomorrow night, which is Tuesday, Wednesday night, and then again Friday night and Saturday, I want to talk to you. Get on the stream. All the men that jumped on the stream tonight, I'm looking forward to seeing your name in the chat room tomorrow night. Let's do it, guys. All right? Have a great night, folks.